All right. This is that moment of truth. I can't really see what's going on YouTube, but I can see what's going on Rockfin, and I'll be kind of explaining a little bit more about that. YouTube did that whole thing again where they don't. I do my authentication and then they don't let me move forward. They're doing it again. All right, Rockfin is awake. I'm assuming YouTube is awake and Twitter is awake. So to everyone watching on YouTube, there's probably not a live chat going. I'm sorry for that. But yeah, it's been happening again where YouTube just kind of locks me out of my account. They asked me to do the 2-point authentication. I do it the way I'm supposed to, and then it just totally freezes and it keeps doing it. It's done that before, and then all of a sudden it would work again, and then it would stop working, and then it would work again, and then it would stop working. Right now, it's just not working, and there you go. So, um, I guess a quick announcement. I'm so tired of dealing with this. It's really exhausting. Like it just is, and I don't know why this keeps happening to me. I don't know what is so threatening about a show that talks about worker strikes and digital rights and net neutrality and climate change. Those are the main things I talk about on this show. And for some reason, oh, sometimes I talk about punk rock music. On Monday, we talked about hockey. I don't know what is so difficult about this and who knows, maybe it is just some crazy glitch thing. I don't know. All I can tell you is I'm so freaking tired of it. I am so freaking tired of it. And I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate your support so freaking much. And I feel bad asking this because it's like the fact that you support my show at all is so much to begin with. And it means the world and then some. And I cannot do any of this without you. So I feel so bad asking for something else. But, you know, dealing with YouTube has just been so tiring and exhausting this year. So I am asking if you are able, for those of you who support this show via YouTube, I'm asking you if you're able to try to support it a different way. You can join the Patreon. That's the best way to do it. Just join my Patreon. I drop all of my content on my Patreon, all of it. And you can just go to patreon.com/romplacone and you can sign up for a give what you can level. Even $1 a month goes a long way. That's a fantastic way to support this show. You can join Rockfin. That's another decent way. And you can tip over on Rockfin. You can also catch the audio podcast. And there are ways you can tip on Twitter. We are streaming on Twitter. We will always stream on Twitter. You can tip via Twitter now. I have that set up. You can also go to my website. So there are other ways to support this show other than YouTube. And I'm asking if you are able, if you like supporting the show, if you're able to support the show and you typically support it via YouTube, please, if you can, consider one of those alternative ways. Because I just, it's just on any given day, like who knows? Like maybe the 2-point thing will work just normal, or maybe it's just going to keep recycling me back to this same window and it won't let me move forward no matter what I do. I have it set up. I know how to do it. But yeah, and when I can't get in, I can't set up the chat. I can't, monetize anything. So I'm really just over it. I'm sorry, y'all. I really am, but it's been going on for about a year. And I YouTube is by far my least favorite platform anyway. I really don't like it. And so, you know, I'm still gonna be available on YouTube the best that I can because I know some of you that's where you count on getting the content from. I totally get that. But just so you know, there are a lot of other ways to support the show, Patreon being the best, Rockfin, Twitter tips. You can go to my website, and there's all kinds of ways to contribute that way. So if you do contribute via YouTube, please consider one of those methods. And thank you so much for being here and your continued support. And shout out to those who make this show possible. Our friends over at Indie Left. Indie Left's a good place to find all the content creators and streamers you know and love. They make a list, they update it twice a day to find out everything they got going on and to subscribe to their Discord. Check them out at independentleft.media. All right. Enough about that. Oh, one more quick announcement. Los Angeles, Graham Elwood and I have a show on November 27th. It'll probably be the last stand-up show of 2021. Definitely the last co-headlining one of 2021 between Graham and myself. So get those tickets, Los Angeles, November 27th. You can grab tickets at romplacone.com. All right. Time for headlines. This is the headline show of the week. And joining me is the one and only. It's that time of the month. She is the co-author, of the Yas Queen Chronicles. Please welcome back to the show, Savage Joy. What's up, Joy?
Hey, I could not agree more with YouTube. They are so frustrating. And I'm so glad to finally be on Rockfin. So thank you so much, Rockfin, who does not censor or have a freaking algorithm or like I've done a show 4.5 years, but I just went out on my own. So it's kind of like starting fresh. And YouTube has, for those who don't have a show, they literally make you have like 4,000 hours of viewing and 1,000 followers before you're even able to get any kind of donations. So it's very contingent on who watches and things like that. And that's just bullshit. So thank you.
Well, yeah, and they make you difficult to find. They make it so that people can't find you. And it's like, and then they'll just randomly like I just randomly get locked out of my account. And so, there's no chat on the YouTube. There's no I'm so tired of it. I understand some people, that's how they get the content and they're used to it. So, I'll still have a presence on YouTube, but I'm just over it. I truly despise everything about YouTube. I really do. And, I encourage people to try to just seek alternative means overall, like for this show and for other shows. This show is also available as an audio podcast. You can get all the content via my Patreon. I'm not going to rehash the announcement again, but yeah, I can't emphasize it enough. I truly despise YouTube. And
I want to give the audience, I've never said this publicly, but I want to say, okay, so Ron's the only person I have a Patreon for. And when he saw that I gave him a Patreon, he gave me the exact Patreon back. So that's the kind of person he is. Which is freaking awesome. That was awesome.
Kind of you to say. Well, thank you for that. All right, so let's get into some headlines. Enjoy. I got some music stuff for you. Yeah, of course I got, but we're gonna do that last. First, we're gonna go to the climate catastrophe that's going on in our world, and we're gonna go to one of my favorite cities in the world. That my heart goes out to everyone there right now, and I'm rooting for them. And I checked in on some friends. Daniel Mate, who is brother of Aaron Mate, he is up there right now. I don't think Aaron is, but Daniel is. I checked in with Daniel, and him and his family are all okay. But things are getting a little crazy in Vancouver, British Columbia. And no, it's not just because of hockey season. Vancouver storm, this is from the BBC, and this is from today. So this is the most recent update. A state of emergency has been declared in British Columbia. So as y'all have probably heard by now, there have been some major storms in Vancouver, and it has blocked all of their roads, basically. There's mudslides blocking all of their roads. Some people had to evacuate. So here's an update. A state of emergency has been declared in the Canadian Western province of British Columbia after a major storm cut road and rail links in the region. The Canadian Armed Forces have been deployed to help thousands of stranded residents who have been trapped since the storm hit overnight on Sunday. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, never seen a pipeline he didn't like, pledged assistance during a visit to Washington, D.C., and said troops would help rebuild. But heaven forbid we get off fossil fuels. One woman was killed in a landslide and 2 people are missing. Officials say more fatalities to be confirmed in the coming days. Can we declare it an emergency yet? I know some places already have. but it's like, what more do you need? And it's interesting. The Northwest is taking it so hard. Like, places like Seattle, Portland, Vancouver, they're getting wildfires that they're not used they're getting, heat waves that they never had before. They're getting more storms. Like, the Northwest is getting hit particularly hard, and what really sucks about that is, like, generally, they're the places that take climate change more seriously, and they're getting hit the hardest.
Well, I mean, the good news is Justin Trudeau and President Biden are meeting as we speak. So
Oh,
I'm sure
jeez.
that's going to be incredibly beneficial. And I have so much hope for that. The great thing is, you know, Biden, an article came out the other day that he is selling 80 million acres of land to put oil and pipelines to the highest bidder.
Oh,
So
great.
literally, whoever bids the highest gets to help destroy our planet. So that's exciting. In personal news, I'm in Pennsylvania. It's 71 degrees right now in like mid to late November. So, but yeah, you're right. How many countries have declared a climate emergency? Now, that doesn't mean, you could call it symbolic, you could call it, a gesture, what have you, but at least it means that they're acknowledging it. But
Right.
the US can't even do that because acknowledging it would mean, shit, we should probably act on it. But the
Right.
fact that we had the summit like a week ago, and then all of a sudden now it comes out, Biden's doing all this shit that he said he wasn't going to do. It's like he knew not to do it before the summit. Like he knew not to. But
And
now
before
it's
he
like,
fell asleep at the summit.
yeah, he was really interested.
Well, that's the discouraging thing too. So one thing that I've said, and I still hold this view, that I take a little bit of comfort in knowing that climate change is a worldwide problem because that means that there are other countries that are actually doing things, and the United States will likely be drug along kicking and screaming. Now, that being said, the other side of that is because the United States is such a superpower, I really do feel like the United States is helping to breed the climate apathy. Like, 'cause so many people, they're just like, well, if the United States isn't doing anything, screw it. We're not going to stop fossil fuel production either. And so I think that not only are we a terrible actor in our own right, but I feel like we also bring out the worst in other places. I'm not saying we're the only bad actor. I don't think that's accurate or fair to say, but I feel like we set the absolute worst example, and it's influencing other places too for the
Yeah,
worst.
absolutely. I mean, the infrastructure bill we're hearing so much about that's been gutted down. Everybody keeps saying 2 trillion and it's not. It's 1.75.
Hmm.
But one of the things that's in that wonderful bill is more money for the MIC. Who's the biggest contributor of climate change? Oh, it's the MIC. So we're also guilty on that respect because now Biden is trying to push yet another uh defense bill, which is actually a war bill. Bernard said he's voting against it, so that's good, but it's still going to pass. And what that means is more climate devastation. A lot of things we don't hear people talk about as well is climate refugees. We
Right.
are going to start seeing so many more people moving to the states and other countries as they get flooded, as they get situations like this in Canada. Like, where are these people going to go? They have to go somewhere. So, is Biden going to lock them up in cages too? Like, we don't have this, like, we're looked at as some people as like you said, the country. But, like, shit isn't good here at all.
No, well, I think most of the people, especially climate refugees and stuff like that, they're not coming here because they think we're some bastion of hope. They're coming here because they're desperate. They're
Right.
absolutely desperate, and they were made desperate by our actions. They were made desperate by
Absolutely.
our exploitation, by our sanctions in many cases. I mean, we are creating the circumstances that these people come here out of desperation because they have no other choice, and then we're turning
Absolutely.
them away. I mean, it's absolutely barbaric. And then you see people on the right going, "See, if we're so bad, why do people want to come here?" They don't. They don't. They were made desperate largely by us, so they had no other choice. They don't want to be here. So, uh, so let's go to some union strike news. Now, there's a couple updates that we're going to talk about today. One of them is good, and it's like, yeah. The other one is maybe not quite as good. We'll do the maybe not quite as good first, and this has to do with IATSE, the Union for Film and TV Workers. They have apparently reached an agreement, but it was pretty divided and still is. So here's kind of what's going on. This is from Variety. IATSE members vote to ratify contract ending strike threat. The membership of the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees has voted to ratify a new 3-year agreement. The vote was unusually close, with 256 yes, 188 no, and then some of the locals were even closer, it looks like. And on some agreements, it was actually more no votes than yes. In this one scanning of membership, it was 50.4% voted no, 49.6 voted yes. But overall, it got through. But it is about half and half. Now, the people who voted against it, they say it doesn't go far enough. Here's some of the stuff that's in it. The new contract provides a 54-hour weekend rest period, 10 hours off in between shifts for workers on all types of productions. The deal also provides $370 million to shore up pension and health funds, a 3% annual raise, significant pay hikes, and their minimum rates will be $26 an hour by the end of the third year. Now, Bob Warner, who is a set painter in Local 729, voted yes. He says, I think it's a pretty good contract. It seems like, from when I talked to the people negotiating it, it's the best we could do without going on strike. That's not a huge glowing endorsement, by the way. Now, here's what some of the no people are saying. Many of the members urged a no vote, saying the contract did nothing to shorten work days. 10-hour turnarounds were already baked into most workers' contracts. They still allow for 14-hour days on set. Some also argue that the contract does not do enough to prevent productions from skipping lunch breaks. The new agreement increases meal penalties once productions go past 8 hours without a break, but the penalties for going past 6 hours remain unchanged. The deal also does not include new streaming residuals for the pension and the health plan, which members also saw as a weakness. So what I'm guessing is that goes into, we actually talked about this, and I think I talked about it with you, how they are able to nickel and dime workers whenever it's a streaming project, because many years ago, when Netflix and Hulu and all this stuff was kind of new, and most people didn't know what the hell it was, so they didn't know if it was going to go anywhere, they would, get people to take lower rates on that because they were like, this is considered, quote, experimental media. We don't know if this is going to work or not. So we're all kind of rolling the dice here. And, I guess some people agreed to it and said, okay, that's fine. We'll still take the gig. Well, now we know how powerful Netflix and Hulu and all these companies are now. Streaming is actually the big man on campus now. But they still try to get away with this thing of not giving residuals, of not giving this, of not giving that, of nickel and diming it, trying to play by the rules that were the rules in the year 2000 that don't apply anymore. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, lowering it to 56 hours a week, like that's still a lot. The one thing I will say is that yes, we talked about it last time, and one of the articles said that some people are making as little as $10 an hour. So the $26 an hour, I believe you said, that is genuinely a leap. But
Hmm.
everything else, it's yeah. I mean, the thing is, they're holding people hostage. If they go on strike, they have no income. So that's what they do
Right.
to people. They're like, okay, we're going to give you some breadcrumbs and maybe a few things that are a little tantalizing. And then you kind of have to give in because you have to pay your bills.
Yeah, and what's interesting is I kind of look at it this way. If I was on a film set and I made cookies for everybody, and half the people said, "These cookies freaking suck, and I would never eat this again. Gross." And then the other half of the people were like, I ate this because the idea of no food sounds worse, and I mean, I was able to eat it. I would think that my cookies probably weren't that great. I would think this is probably not a repeat. That seems to be most of the reviews of this agreement. Like people are like, Okay, it's better than what we had before, and I guess it avoids a strike." And other people are like, "No." So that's not a glowing thing here. I mean, obviously, I want the best, certainly, but you kind of got to ask yourself, like, were the people in leadership positions acting on behalf of the workers as hard as they could have? And signs, I think, point to no. And there's even more speculation out there that leadership is going to change as a result of this because these results are
Oh,
just not good enough.
yeah, I agree. That's a damn shame because that is hard work.
It's very
Like,
hard work.
really hard work.
It's very hard work, and I certainly get that. Okay, it's not a 9 to 5 gig. It doesn't work that way when you're making film and TV. I get that, but it's like when you have these insanely long shifts. And it's not like, I mean, the actors, they kind of come and go. They kind of go, when they need to be on set, they're there. When they don't need to be on set, they're not there. And I know what it's like as an actor to be on sets. And even that is fairly tiring when you're waiting around and stuff. But when you're on crew, you are working that entire time. You are working nonstop. So it is incredibly hard work. They deserve to be compensated extremely well, and they deserve to be given fair conditions or at least have shifts arranged in a way that nobody's really burning out. I mean, that's not unreasonable to ask.
And I think one of the other things is like to break it down even further is you're doing a project with movie stars, and do you think they want to have them wait for an hour while people go on breaks? No, because it costs them money and they may say that it was unorganized behind the scenes. So they're just like, oh well, we'll just have these people keep working instead of
Yeah.
doing as you said and having a stagnant
You
schedule
block it.
between
You
people.
block it the right way and you treat everybody right. And yeah, but that's not the American way. So here's another strike going on that seems to have a little bit of a happier outcome. More Perfect Union tweets this: breaking, the 10,000 striking John Deere workers voted to approve a third contract offer. Now, this had a little better results. This is significantly better than half and half. This was 61% to 39% in favor. This ends the 5 week strike and solidifies major concessions from the company. The big win includes an $8,500 bonus, an immediate 10% raise, which is significantly higher than what IATSE got, another 10% raise by 2025, improved pension, and according to Status Quo, I believe they got some improved health benefits as well. Here's let me pull up a quick tweet from Status Quo here too, what they reported by it. Um, so Status Quo says, breaking over a month on strike, John Deere union workers have agreed to a new contract, winning significant wage increases, more secure healthcare benefits, and pensions. So here's a better outcome. And I guess the questions here are, well, so what was different? One of, I think, the most glaring differences, and this is just an interesting thing to note, one was a threat of a strike, another was a 5 week
Exactly.
strike. I mean, you can't help but notice that. So in IATSE's case, they were threatening to go on strike. And by the way, while they were negotiating, the people kept working. They
Right.
kind of were like, "Hey, we're talking. Here's an offer," and the workers said, "No." Here's another offer. I think there were two offers that the workers turned down. There might have just been one, but nonetheless, the point is, there were offers. The workers said no. They kept working throughout all this. John Deere, they didn't keep working. They went on strike, and
Right.
I mean, that's the big. I'm sure there's other differences as well, like as far as the organizations goes, and what kind of resources were available for the different workers. I don't know all the answers to that. But the one glaring thing that you can't help but observe here, one group went on strike, the other group didn't. One group got much better results than the other. And I'm not saying this to wag my finger at either group. I mean, I stand with the workers in each case. But I'd say there is something to be learned here that maybe you kind of just got to strike or bust.
That's so difficult, though. I
I
totally
know, I
agree.
know. I get
But
it.
it's
That's why I'm
like,
saying, like, I'm not when I say this, I'm not in any way putting down IATSE or anything like that. I mean, other than, I think the leadership should be questioned. But as far as the workers go, I'm not in any way directing this at them. I get it. I'm just saying you can't help but notice these people striked. Here's what they got. These people didn't strike, just had the threat. Here's what they got. I mean, you can't help but notice that.
sure. Absolutely. And that's why other countries are, do so many more protests because, like, they have universal health care and they
Right.
have paid leave and stuff like that. So it's like, and plus, you got to make sure enough people are going to join you. Like, you may be like, yes, we're striking. Fuck this. I'll put my bills on hold. I don't care. But if you don't have other people to join you, it, so there's so many variables that go through it, but you are absolutely right. That is one big difference. I also want to give a shout out to Kellogg's. They're about a half hour from me, so shout out and solidarity
They're
with
still
all of
striking,
you.
right?
What's that?
For anyone not in the know, they're still striking Kellogg's.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Um, and I don't know how accurate this is. I still have to research it, but someone posted last night that Bernie Sanders gave 20K to Kellogg's. I find it believable because he gave a lot of money to John Deere. I'm gonna have to research it more, but that's definitely
I
good.
saw that headline too. I can't confirm it 100% or
I
not.
Yeah, I
Allegedly did do
consider it the
that.
source, so I don't want to say it as fact, but he did donate to John Deere, and it's one of those things where it's like coulda, woulda, shoulda. He wanted to have unions for everyone, but it's like watching this and seeing these people like, please, if you can, this is a form of mutual aid. If you can give any donations to these strikers,
Right.
they are literally going without pay right now. They have families, they have bills. So if you can, show solidarity, even if it's a few dollars.
So, and this is all by design, as you hinted at, as I hinted
Sure.
at. We have a society where they intentionally make it very, very difficult for people to strike. So in Germany, they strike. And that's why some of them have 28.5-hour work weeks now.
Yeah.
They strike. In France, they strike. Their healthcare is not tied to their job. They
Mhm.
have, a better support and safety net just in their country in general. So it's easier for them to just go on strike when they're not being treated right. Here, with so many people one paycheck away from going under, it's not as easy. And healthcare being
Right.
tied to your job, it's not as easy. That's by design. And it's happened throughout 60 years of them defanging unions, making unions pretty much go away. I mean, we have like what, 11% of the workforce is in a union. And a lot of unions, you see the leadership, they're not really acting on behalf of the workers. They're just more or
Mhm.
less a figurehead for the company to make sure the workers don't act out too much. And that was a concentrated effort. That doesn't mean unions are bad. Unions aren't bad. Unions are very good. But unions have really been defanged in this country. So we need to reclaim what it means to have a union in a lot of cases. Not all of them. There's still some unions that are totally great. But i- it's a long road. I mean, it really is.
It is. It really is. And you posted a few times that you were trying to unionize for tenants in your building. How is that going? Do you see people interested or?
I haven't really had the conversation with people yet. It's just like I've gotten to know some of the people in my building a little better, and there's just a lot of like pretty cool people, and some of them seem, kind of lefty minded. Like, like one of my neighbors, he's really involved in community gardens and stuff like that, and community farming. So him and I talk about that a lot. And my other neighbor is a pretty big lefty, and one of my neighbors is like a militant anarchist. Not literally militant, but like he's a very, very staunch in his beliefs, I guess you would say, anarchist. But I could see him maybe getting on board with the tenants union. We'll see. But yeah, no, I've thought about trying to do something like that. I mean, my apartment complex is cool, and they treat us just fine. But we're getting a new manager, and I was like, it wouldn't hurt if we're all sort of just kind of in cooperation with each other in case we need to fight for our rights. It's Los Angeles. They try to pull quick ones all the time on people. So, but yeah, anyway, I wish I had a more insightful update, but I don't.
Well, no, I mean it's a good reminder that it doesn't have to be just a workforce. Like
Mhm.
you can essentially unionize a lot of stuff. That's not just your employer.
I unionize myself. Sometimes people ask me like if my job is unionized, and I'm like, well, I'm self-employed, so I don't really understand how that would be a thing. But I've unionized myself. I am now a union of one, and my scab is Lucy. She has crossed the picket line. My cat has crossed.
Lucy.
Lucy crossed the. I don't know why she did it, but there was a little picket line. It was in between the couch and her cat tree, and there was a treat on her cat tree. And don't you know, she crossed the picket line for that treat.
Lucy. I still love you, but that's you're gonna have to learn.
I know. I instantly forgave her. I was like, whatever you want to do, it's fine. You get to do whatever you want.
Don't
So
enable her, Ron.
I know, right? I'm the worst. I'm such a pushover. I mean, dogs know it, cats know it. They're just like, this guy. He'll do whatever we want him to. We're pretty sure. Just look at him with those big droopy eyes, and he'll be like, "What do you want? I'll do that."
I'll give you two.
Yeah,
It's
right. You want
okay.
to treat you? Yeah, I'll give you a treat. You don't want to walk anybody. I mean, I walk my neighbor's dog sometimes and whatever. She's just like, "We're done." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. Where do you want to go? You want to poop right there? That's fine. I'll clean it up. You do whatever you want." Um. Anyway, so this is an interesting thing that's been in the news this week, and it has to do with surveillance and digital rights and privacy and concerts. All things
Yeah.
that are of interest to me. Basically, Amazon, which I know you're thinking, well, usually when Amazon's involved, it's a great thing. So please continue. Amazon, along with Axis and Red Rocks Amphitheater and a few other, I think AEG is involved as well. They're exploring this new technology of scanning the palms of people's hands to get into concerts. And again, Amazon has like contracts with the CIA and stuff. So this is the palm of your hand. It's permanent. I also feel like this is subtly throwing shame at chronic masturbators, which I don't think is right. To each their
True.
own.
That's
But
a good point.
so here's something that's going on. Check this out. Tom Morello, Anti-Flag and More sign an open letter demanding venue drop palm scamming tech, and Amazon responds. So Amazon responded to this. We're going to get to that in a second, but first let's talk about what's going on. The concert going world continues to change, and this is from Loudwire. One of the latest innovations is not sitting well with a number of artists and special interest groups. Tom Morello, Anti-Flag, Bikini Kills, Kathleen Hanna, and more have signed an open letter demanding that Red Rock Amphitheater drop their usage of the new Amazon One palm scanning technology. By the way, quick shout out to Fight for the Future. They're the folks behind
Yes.
all of this. Fightforthefuture.org. My favorite digital rights organization in the world, really, not just in the country, in the world. Of course, I'm biased because I've collaborated with them on a couple campaigns before, but they are badass and they do amazing things. Shout out to Evan and Joe and everyone and Sarah and everyone on the team, Leah. I don't want to forget anyone, but yeah, everyone on the team over there. As is pointed out in the website accompanying the letter, Amazon, Red Rocks, ticketing company, Axis, and parent company AEG, okay, so they are all involved, have touted the technology as a mode of convenience, But the artists and groups argue that it opens the door for more biometric surveillance for corporations and governments. And they'd be right. The device allows people to enter venues with a scan of their palms rather than using a paper or digital ticket. Soon they'll just be able to scan your mind, and they'll know if you actually paid or not. They'll scan your brain. They'll know if you're lying.
And
Where
what about
addresses?
people with prosthetics?
Great question. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, that's a fantastic question. Where addresses and credit cards may change over time, a person's biometric can't be changed, making it easier to identify and track the activities and interactions of concert goers. The technology is being used in certain stores where people can pay card free, and Red Rocks is the first music venue that will debut the new technology for concert goers. It's also pointed out this allows state agencies. This is the big part here. It allows state agencies like DHS and police departments to systematically be able to target and survey people of color and social activists. That's the bigger piece here. And they do this all the they're misusing facial recognition technology, which this isn't facial recognition, but they're misusing that type of technology all the time. They would do the same if they had a scan of your freaking palm. First of all, I'm sure it would backfire many times, just like facial recognition software did. And you have cops using this for the most dishonest of means. They use it to target people, especially activists they don't like. They use it to find information on an X. It's completely Orwellian and corrupt, and there's no reason for it. It really doesn't convenient our lives that much. It's not putting your freaking credit card in a chip machine or showing a scannable ticket. Not that big of a freaking deal.
Like showing a ticket on your phone, which you hold in your hand, or removing the phone and just scanning the hand, it's kind of the same thing, but it's also invasive to just remove that one step. This is some barcode on the back of the neck shit. Like, that's
It's kind of frightening.
scary. That is really, really scary.
So Amazon responded, and their response was just a total deflection. So here's the response. Now, Evan Greer from Fight for the Future, she tweeted this out. Wow, seeing now that Amazon gave an incredibly misleading statement to Rolling Stone in response to our letter. Nowhere do we claim that palm scanning is facial recognition. That makes no sense. She is correct there, because one's your frickin' face, one's your frickin' palm. Apparently, a spokesperson for Amazon couldn't put that one together. They admit here they send your biometric data to the cloud. So here's a segment in Rolling Stone. In a statement to Rolling Stone, Amazon dismissed the artists and advocates' claims as inaccurate. Here's what Amazon had to say. Amazon One is not a facial recognition technology. No one said that it was. This is just your bullshit PR deflection. It is an optimal technology designed to make daily activities faster and easier for customers and users who choose to participate. Must make an international gesture with their palm to use the service. We understand that how we protect customer data is important to customers. You don't protect it. That's the freaking problem. This is very important to us too. No, it's not. And that's why safeguarding customer privacy is a foundational design principle for Amazon One. Amazon One devices are protected by multiple security controls, and palm images are never stored on the Amazon One device. Rather, the images are encrypted and sent to a highly secure area we custom built for Amazon One in the cloud, where we create your palm signature. So who are you going to believe? Digital rights organizations who have been on this beat for years and years, or Amazon, who, let's see what their track record is. First of all, Jeff Bezos has been using Amazon Ring to surveil entire neighborhoods and cities. They've done this in cooperation with police forces. They've done it to target people who are complaining about environmental issues or protesting for climate change. Amazon also has deals with the CIA we don't even know the details about. Oh, and Jeff Bezos also orchestrated a year-long, or however long it was, lie to obtain $1 billion worth of infrastructure data from cities all over the country under the guise that he was looking for a place for a second location. He wasn't. He knew where he was going the entire time. It was a total scam to extract billions of dollars worth of data that he can now do whatever he wants with. It was a plot out of a freaking comic book villain's mind, and he did it. So you're really going to trust them with your palm? You think what that spokesperson said, the bullshit deflection, "Oh, it's not facial recognition software." No one said it was. No one ever said that. They
Wait,
made
your
the
hand is
analogy.
not on your face?
Yeah, yeah. Your palm's not on your face. We dismiss this. Amazing
I'm
what they
also
tried to pull.
curious. I mean, I digress a little, but as an identical twin, I kind of wonder how similar my palm is to my sister.
Well, you might wanna find out because maybe you can go to each other's concerts. Maybe you can use this.
Yeah.
You can make
Yeah.
lemonade out of this. And you can
Or
be like,
I
"Dude,
could
which one of
just
us bought
do
tickets?"
I could do a crime and just be like, "Hey, it was my sister, facial recognition, it's not me." No, I'm just kidding, I wouldn't do a crime, that wasn't funny, but it's actually I really do think about the ableism of it, like, there are so many people with prosthetics and, or deformities or disabilities, and I don't that's you I've read stuff about, using the eyes as well, and I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
legally blind. I'm 85% blind. Using something on my eyes will actually damage them more. And also, they don't, when you look up close, they're not regular eyes. Like they're blind. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Mhm.
all of this, none of this is being looked at as from a medical point of view. It's just, we want your data. Like, I totally trust you having, my palm print. It's not creepy. They're probably going to take like fingerprints as well. Like, they'll probably scan the whole hand and then be like, ooh, and then put you
Well,
in like a
then they'll do a
database.
mugshot. They'll do a mugshot of you too.
Yeah.
Welcome
Okay, now
welcome to the concert.
transcribe.
Enjoy the musical stylings of whoever it is you're seeing.
Yeah.
Your scanning is over.
And the irony is the next band I'm seeing is Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, where are you seeing them at?
New York, actually, Madison Square Garden. My husband
Whoa.
got me early Christmas tickets. So I said, I want one
Wow.
thing, just one. Rage. That's it. That's all I want. So
Have you ever seen them?
I have not, they are
Yeah, I've
number
never seen them.
one on my bucket list. I'm so excited. I can't even tell you.
I don't know the next live music I'm gonna be seeing, to tell you the truth. I don't I mean, I have tickets for, some rescheduled stuff. Like, I had Hold Steady tickets, and that got pushed back to next year. It was supposed to be in September. They pushed it back again. So, I do have tickets for that, but I'd like to think I'm gonna see live music before next September. Like, there'll be something in between there. I got to see the Stones a couple weeks back, which was pretty
Oh,
cool.
yeah, that's right.
It was awesome. So, but yeah, I don't know what like my very next thing's gonna be. I guess I don't have anything coming up super soon,
I
but
got
there'll be
Chili
stuff.
Peppers tickets too, but I've already seen them 8 times, so I'm still excited, but because they're my favorite, but Rage, whew, I can't wait.
Right on. So here's
Oh,
hoping
and it's
as
with, Run the Jewels too.
oh, you got tickets for that?
Well, they're playing with Rage.
Oh, nice. Are
Yeah,
they? Wow, that'll be cool. That's a cool
Philharmonic.
lineup. I wonder if they're coming to LA. I haven't looked. I mean, I've never
Yeah,
seen
they're
Rage
doing
Against
a
the Machine. I'd like
lot in
to.
California. They have multiple dates in LA.
I'm sure they do. I mean, they live here, so or at least
Yeah.
I think Tom Morello does. I don't know if everyone does, but I'm pretty sure Tom Morello still lives here in Los Angeles. But anyway, so as live music opens up, here's hoping that we don't need to have our palms be scanned and stored to get into a freaking concert.
Oh my God.
Joy, where can people go to learn more about you?
So our website is like having a little glitch today, but please check back with it if you can't get in today. savageandpat.com. I co-wrote a shitlib parody book with Pat the Burner, Pat Cody. And it is so fun and I'm told cathartic. So please support independent writers, Amazon free. Please support us. We could really use the help monetarily, the very little we get, but also we enjoy making people laugh. My channel is Savage Joy Marie Man on YouTube and Rockfin. Tonight I have Elias Cepeda, who I do quite have shows with. He's a wonderful journalist. And I also have a woman named Jessica Love, and she is an indigenous climate activist. So we're going to talk about climate change from a native perspective, which I feel doesn't happen very much. So tune in for that tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. And I'm also Mondays, I do a show called Postmortem Breakdown with Available Andrew and Logan. And that is on Populist Voice Network, which Compton Jay started. So please subscribe to that as well.
Right on. Well, thanks for joining me for that time of the month. To everyone who watches this on YouTube, sorry about the chat. Again, I'm locked out, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's all gonna unfold here, but again, I appreciate everyone's support. I appreciate y'all helping keep this show on the air. And for those of you who do support it via YouTube, I appreciate it so much, and thank you so much. And I know it's asking even more, but if you can and if you are able, please consider an alternative way to support the show. Either become a patron, patreon.com/romflacone, or sign up on Rockfin, or you can tip via Twitter, or you can go directly to my website, a means other than YouTube, because YouTube has just been so frustrating to deal with this year that there aren't words. So Joy, thanks so much for coming on, and I'll see you next time. And to everyone out there, you know the drill. Lucy, she says meow. Get your tickets for November 27th, Los Angeles, roplaco.com.
Yes.
And Lucy, she says meow. And Duchess, she says wolf. That's Joy's dog. And Joy says peace, love, and a general strike. Right? You say all those things, right?
Yes.
All right, good. And I say peace, love, and a general strike too. We'll see y'all next time.
Much love.